our guests here. Ali Awad, the CEO, lawyer, JD, MBA, who built one of the fastest growing law firms in America. Also, we have Hamzah Nasser, CEO of Haraz Coffee House, elevating Yemeni coffee culture while building a jobs and ownership pipeline across locations and suppliers. And of course, Abed Ayoub, ADC's National Executive Director. Please welcome Ali Awad, Hamzah Nasser, and our moderator, Abed Ayoub.
Thank you. We should have put a coffee table. That would have made sense.
I know.
This thing is on.
I had to leave my drink out there.
Thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoyed lunch, and I know this is a good session, and it's an important conversation, and it's in the program as conversation with our sponsors as well. And both Ali and Hamzah have been longtime supporters of ADC and have graciously sponsored this program and this conference. And without their support and the support of many of you, this can't happen. And ADC can't function without the contributions that we get, the support that we get. And we're thankful for Ali, we're thankful for Hamzah for what you've shown us this year and ensuring that ArabCon will continue for many years. And at ADC, one of our core programs, one of our core areas of work is economic empowerment. And that by what we mean by economic empowerment is basically what it sounds like. Giving our community the tools, the resources they need to succeed in this climate and in this economy. And if you take a look closely at sites like Canary Mission and others, where do they target many of the people? They target them in really Zionist control areas and Zionist control fields like the law, in medicine, and engineering. They go after these people because they know that they're dependent on their income. They attack them. They hope to get them fired because they know if we go, we may get them to be quiet or we may get them to close their mouth. And I'm going to give a quick story and a quick fact about how this plays out in our role at ADC. Is after 10/7, we received a lot of calls of people getting fired. They were coming in, they were rolling in, lawyers were stepping out. But starting around January of 2024, we began receiving calls about our minority certification program. We're the only entity in the country that certifies Arab-owned businesses as minority-owned. And we began seeing individuals that were fired begin working together. So an example is out of California, we had 3 lawyers who were fired. They did not know each other. We connected them. They opened their own law firm. And now they're doing well. In Minneapolis, we had 4 nurses, who were fired, who were let go. They got together and opened their own traveling nurse company. Now they're succeeding financially, and they're even louder and more bolder in their positions, and they're supporting a lot of our initiatives. And I know talking about finances, talking about money, talking about these topics is not usually a comfortable thing to do, but it's got to be done. It is important that we recognize those that are putting in the effort, recognize what it takes to succeed, and then get the knowledge, get the insight, get the information from those that are actually doing it. And both Hamzah and Ali are young entrepreneurs. They've put in the hours, they've put in the commitment, the dedication to grow businesses in their respective fields. Ali within the law field, Hamzah here with in the coffee field, more growing an empire really that's going to be challenging many national brands and many national chains in the year to come. So we want to have a conversation, what it takes. We want to get their insight a little bit, and I will start off by asking each of you a question: is how important is it, this topic, this conversation of what we're working on? What we're talking about, how important it is and what drives you, to support these efforts and this type of work. So either one.
Well, it's for me, it's more about building a community and doing something from the country where I was born in Yemen, and even though I've been here for 30 years, my heart is still attached to Yemen. And being able to do something successful here and also helping families back home and creating jobs back home and over here is something that that it should motivate anybody that nothing is impossible. I think, our grandfathers came to this country, they worked in factories, and, they paved the way. Alhamdulillah, things were a little bit less challenging for us, and hopefully we can make it even, pave the way even more for the next generation that comes after us.
Yes. And I know.
My name is Ali Awad, and I help injured people make a wad of money. So the first thing I wanted to make sure is that you guys remember me and remember my name. And it's something that I think many Arabs and Muslims are scared to do. They're scared to stand out. They're scared to be excellent. Generationally, especially if your parents were immigrants, your parents were in survival mode. Just like our families and our friends, our brothers and sisters in Gaza are going through right now. Survival mode. But one generation later, the descendants of those survivors, they don't think about surviving anymore. We think about thriving. And I find it interesting that we can take so much from our cultures, a lot of the good things, but there's also some bad things in our culture that we need to get rid of. And the thing that we need to get rid of is the survival-only mentality. It's okay to thrive. It's okay to succeed. It's okay to be number one. And for me, the thing I like to talk about is how to build within your own life an entirely economic ecosystem where you're spending your money intentionally with the people that support you and believe in what you do. There's an interesting statistic about the black community, and this is not to shun the black community, it's to say how well Jim Crow laws and slavery and indentured servitude has worked in our country, especially with dividing the nuclear family. Do you know how many times a dollar circulates in the black community before it gets out? 0.8x. It's less than one time. They spend money more outside of their community than they keep within it. Do you know how many times the dollar is circulated in the Jewish community? Y'all were way more excited about that one. 20 times. Over 20 times. And so that's the statistic that I think we should focus on, is let's just try to at least make an intention to keep our money in our communities. And when we have a problem with each other, we hire lawyers and arbiters and mediators within our community. And when we have issues with those arbiters and those lawyers, we go within the religious leaders and the scholars within our community. And maybe, just maybe, if we keep our money within our communities for the next 20 years, the next generation won't ever think about just surviving. They'll be so far ahead.
That's right. That's right.
I wasn't trying to get a round of applause, guys. This is just how I talk, just so y'all know. It bothers me that we don't want to succeed, that we're scared of excellence. It bothers me, and it should bother you too. It should bother you when someone says, oh, you can't do that. Oh, there's too many people that already run this business. That's okay. I'm here to eat their lunch. It's okay to shove your success down other people's throats. It's okay. Of course, there's a time and place for humility, but don't let your humility keep you from opportunities. Make sure that the money in our community stays within our community and we keep investing. And like I said, God willing, within the next generation, we'll be so far ahead. We're not thinking about surviving or thriving. We're thinking about changing the world. And that's what wealth is. Money is the power to buy things, but wealth is the power to change things. So let's be wealthy in our communities.
And on that note, in Dearborn, I don't know how many of you know this, but the peer-to-peer transactions in Dearborn alone is $7 billion. and that is really more in line with, higher than many other communities. So that is something that could be a model for others. And, Hamzah, your businesses started here, your businesses took off here, and I know you faced, many challenges. But what is the working within the community, the advantages? I know you got offices locations across the country. What makes Dearborn extra special in working with us?
Dearborn is probably the most challenging community to work in, and if you can build a successful business in Dearborn and make it, because there's it's very competitive, and if you can make it in Dearborn, it's going to be, very easy to make it anywhere else. That's the truth. And for me, it's my business model for Haraz Coffee House. It's entering new communities, and going into new communities and teaching them about, because honestly for me, I was in a total different retail type of business and industries, and I've never worked in a coffee shop before other than mine, and when I built Haraz, I opened a lot of new communities. Every single community I went into, I've had one community that I went into was Plano, Texas, and we had literally a 6'7" Army veteran that called and said, "Am I allowed? I'm not Muslim, but can I come into your coffee shop and have coffee?" And I thought, I'm like, of course, bring your family, you're more than welcome. And he came by himself, and we introduced him not only to some amazing coffee, but to the hospitality and the experience that our culture brings from back home into the real coffee culture that it is. So he was he changed his total mindset about what he thought about whether about Muslims, about and he literally we had a nice 2-hour conversation. And he opened up, and I seen that in so many more communities that we go into. People come in, they don't know what they're expecting. Who the hell is this? Person coming in here, opening this coffee shop, and you're becoming part of new community every time I open a coffee shop, and you're representing a culture. You're meeting new people, and you're creating new friends. So it's beautiful. It's helping us grow in that sense.
And I know each of you face your own challenges in your respective fields. I mean, Ali, I know you faced, some backlash for your positions and others. How's that impacted you, and how do you look, when you're in business, how do you look past that to keep focused on doing your job, but also supporting the community, taking these stances in these positions? You're not quiet on social media. You're out there. You're pushing the principles and the positions we need to see.
Anyone ever heard the term addition by subtraction? When you subtract a negative from your life, it actually is a positive. And so a little bit of history. I started my law firm from the trunk of my car about 8.5 years ago. And the reason I quit my job was because my old boss wouldn't pay me my bonuses. And then I started just signing up cases, talking to clients. And everyone I interviewed with, no one wanted to give me a job. I'm like, okay, it can't be that hard. Let me just do it myself. And alhamdulillah, within the first full year of business, it became a multi-million-dollar business and just took off from there, alhamdulillah. It's not because of me, it's just because of the blessings of my Lord and because of the sacrifices that my parents made. Specifically my mom and dad, who are both Palestinians, my mom from the Gaza Strip. So when I look at opportunities in America, I think about that opposite end of the extreme. The opposite end of the extreme is, man, we could be worried about getting killed today. You've seen the videos where parents are asking religious leaders whether it's okay for them to all sleep in the same room, side by side, next to each other, because if they were to be bombed overnight, they would rather all die together. imagine how we wake up in the morning. And so the mindset that you get to do this is very important. The mindset that you get to experience this kind of difficulty compared to the other types of difficulties, it puts you in a forced positive mindset. So I actually believe that everything that happens to me is actually a good thing. The only bad things that happen to you are the things that lead you astray from a righteous path. But everything that happens to you that brings you closer to your purpose and closer to fulfill your destiny, that's a good thing. It's a positive thing. So when I first started talking about, I've been obviously Palestinian Muslim outwardly for many, many years. But then 10/7 happened, and I posted a picture of a Palestinian flag, and all the lawyers in my community boycotted me. The same lawyers that had been speaking at my events, the same software companies that had been sponsoring my events. And the following year when I tried to do another event, every single one of them canceled. Every single person, they dropped like flies. And you knew it would come in waves because you'd get 3 text messages back to back from 3 speakers, and they all say, hey, sorry, that's my grandma's 99th birthday, I forgot. It's like, oh, hey, we have a firm retreat during this. It's like interesting that all of you got busy all at the same time. So this was addition by subtraction. And what ended up happening was, in the next event, I decided I don't need 40 speakers. I did 2 days on stage, 8 hours a day by myself, and spoke the entire event, and I donated all of the ticket sales to Gaza just to say a big fuck you to all of you Zionists.
Thank you.
I don't know if that was
Well, I'm sure
appropriate.
it gets bleeped out on the.
We can bleep
I'm sure
that
it
out.
gets bleeped out on the live stream, but
But I'm just saying, man, there's something called FU money. Okay? And when you have FU money, you don't have to listen to anyone else. And if you realize now that you have no control over your economic situation, you have no control of where your tax money goes, you have no control over the genocide that's happening, the least that you can do is make sure your money comes from a righteous way and make sure that you keep your money in your community. It's that important.
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry, Abed. I
No,
got a
no,
little passionate
it's okay.
there.
If we get fined, don't worry. We'll
Yeah,
send you
bro.
the bill.
Actually, my brother, karate attorney, he just settled the case for $2 million today.
Yes.
Shout out to karate attorney. So if we get a
Rahim,
fine,
thank you.
that's my brother and my mentor. So if we get fined, he'll pay for it.
Thank you. Hamzah, you mentioned you know, your birthplace, Yemen, your home country, and its culture. And look, Yemeni business owners are up and coming. I mean, the community is making inroads across the country. And talk about like some of the challenges it's been that you face sometimes from within the community, and some of the opportunities you see as well for the Yemeni communities. Any information you want to give out there, because look, not a lot of folks have been to a Yemeni coffee house yet, and if you haven't, just go down, go to Haraz Coffee or go to the lobby. It's set up right there. So
Well, Ali said sometimes when bad things happen, good things come out of it. Yemenis have always been, they were used to this traditional come to America, work, go back home, relax for a few months or a year, come back here, work. And so the war happened, nobody was able to go back home anymore to visit. Airports bombed, everything's bombed. So that's when everybody's turn on the switch of being entrepreneurs. So everyone started, you probably see in the last 10 years, Yemenis are opening businesses all over. And that's, it's due to the war when you can't go back home. So, and alhamdulillah, that was, the good thing that came out of it is a lot of them opened businesses here. And I've been to so many states in New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Texas, so many states. And not only, they're working together from here and, supporting back home. So, that's one of the good things that has come out of that. And as far as challenges, last year, Haraz, the whole corporation, did about $34 million in sales. So, that's that's a huge number for us. If you could, sometimes everyone fights. You can have the battles your own way. My way is the more sales we take out of these big corporations, the more you see them on the news closing doors. So, just yesterday, Starbucks announced that they're closing another 100 stores.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might walk into a Yemeni coffee shop and you might experience you're paying another $1 extra. But trust me, you're paying $1 extra for some better quality, organic, and it's worth it. And every, consider it like this, every cup is for a cause. You drink a cup, you not only supported a local business, but you supported a family back home that's working in farms with their wives and kids. So that's, as a business owner, you don't really know how connected you are to the whole world until you really own a business. Our coffee comes from Yemen, our cardamom comes from Guatemala, our ginger comes from Malaysia, our espresso machine comes from Italy, our grinder comes from Germany, and our chocolate is coming from the Netherlands, our syrups are coming. So you're just connected to the whole world, and sometimes we wish we don't see these wars because all they do is cause inflation, and we pay the price as individuals. So that's the challenges that we're facing is higher prices due to the wars and now more tariffs.
And any Haraz I walk into, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it's always our own people, our own community members working. I mean, for the both of you, I know you touched on it, but Hamzah, how do you implement that, and how important is that?
As far as like every franchise we have 34 stores today, and mashallah we have 217 in the pipeline. You'll be seeing about we'll hit about 56 by end of this year. So yeah, the not only our sales are expected to hit 50 million by end of 2025, but we're creating more jobs every month, we every single store hires about 15 to 20 individuals, and we have a lot of creative, like Plano, Texas is one of we have a bakery there and a few more stores that we have bakeries. You hire immigrants that just come in. They might not have any English or anywhere to work, but they know how to make good coffee. So it's it helps. It helps, and we're creating jobs more and more every month.
And I mean, the legal field is a little different, but mentorship and pulling, some of the young folks out there. You want to, like some of the young law students now. You're young yourself, but there's a little, there is an incoming class, that we're going to be seeing in the future. So how do you pull them in, and how important is it to?
So I have a philosophy that there's a difference between employment and donations. So if I'm doing something to donate, then I'm not looking for anything in return. If you're looking for employment, now you have to meet my company standards. So I actually don't care where you come from, where you work, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. I grew up in a predominantly Mexican town. I speak better Spanish than Arabic. If there is a community that I've been so deeply entrenched in America, it's the Latin community. That's my community. And this is why in my firm, the majority of our employees are Latin American. In fact, we have over 50 virtual employees in Central and South America. And we've built a pipeline for those employees to where if they're a staff lawyer in another country, we can sponsor them to come to the US, we'll pay for them to get their law degree, and they can get licensed in America and still live in another country, do all of the work that we do in the firm. But interestingly, we're just talking business, Interestingly, the first lawyer that ever became a homegrown lawyer, meaning a virtual lawyer from another country that became a licensed attorney here. He got asylum from Gaza September 2023.
Wow.
And a couple of lawyers in the California community reached out to me and said, hey, you got to meet this guy. I'm like, well, I don't know, what he's going to be able to do, but he's like, look, like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'm going to outwork everyone. Just give me an opportunity. So we put him in the firm as a legal assistant. And if you're not aware, the California bar exam is known as the most difficult bar exam in all of America. And so this guy, whose family he had to leave in September of 2023, leave them behind, didn't know that there was a genocide happening the following month, checking in with his family every single night, hoping that they're still alive. This guy came to America, joined my firm, took the California bar exam, and passed it on the first try.
Wow. Wow.
So what I'm saying is, I don't care where you come from, what your background is, what color it is that you are, I guess. I care more about the quality of your work and your work ethic. And what you're seeing is that when you put yourself out there and you say, as an entrepreneur, I want to grow this business, I want to have a successful company, you will attract like-minded individuals. So you put it out there and you will attract those people. So I don't intentionally try to hire Arabs or Muslims. I actually don't. I'm not even involved with the HR process. I just let everyone have the same opportunity and let the cream rise to the top.
That's right.
So it's a meritocracy, is how I like to operate. It just so happens that there's a lot more excellent Arabs and Muslims than we all think.
That's right. That's right. And that opportunity, we are wrapping up shortly, but I'll kick it over to you guys for some final remarks. But look, those opportunities providing, that's important for ADC through the work we're doing on our business development, minority business programming. We want to give, again, tools, resources, and the certifications to our small-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses to succeed. A lot of our, I'll call them clients, but a lot of the businesses that we work with that we've certified have gone on to achieve, great things, including one of the businesses now holds the contract from the state of Florida for providing food to certain school districts. We have others that are succeeded in getting their products on shelves at Trader Joe's and at Whole Foods and at Costco, right? And it's working directly with these companies to open doors and give opportunities to these Arab-owned business and entrepreneurs and giving them the tools they need. And not only in that field, but also in other areas. And out in Wisconsin, we work with local community on setting up vocational schools, vocational training. I don't know how many of you here went to Fortson just by like a clap of hands or a show of hands or go tractors, okay? Right? Well, then you guys may have, if you graduated before a certain year, you remember we used to have auto shop and we used to have these skills trades in high school where, you had to take those to graduate. And those things are gone. But it's important we provide them again to our students and to our community members because not everybody's going to end up in college, but that's okay. As we were talking to the folks in Wisconsin, we had a number of contractors on the call, and we asked them, if they knew what the average salary was for a plumber in the Milwaukee area, and it was $180,000 a year. And when you ask them how many plumbers did they hire onto their jobs that were Arab or from the community, and the number was zero. It's because none of them are, none of our community members get that training or get that. So it's important to pay attention to that. And we could talk about the professional jobs and the white collar jobs, but those blue collar jobs, and especially like in a city like Dearborn, are very important, and they do give just as much freedom for our people to speak up as any others as well. We are, wrapping up. I won't kick it over for you, any final remarks you have. But look, both of you guys, thank you. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the contributions you've given to ADC at this event and over the past year. Again, this is what keeps us going. This is what keeps the doors open. We don't want to depend on a foundation or an entity out there getting a grant. We want to depend on our community members and our business owners. We want to invest in them, and they invest in us, and that's what we'll keep doing. So any closing remarks you all may have, we could have a couple minutes, and then we'll wrap up. So I'll kick it to you.
I just want to thank the ADC for bringing back this event. I want to thank the whole community for coming together, whether this event is held here or maybe in Chicago or any other city next year. Working together as much as we can. There's a lot of smart people you can find within your community as much as you can find outside your community. Our goal is to continue, representing a culture and, being part of the economy and making a difference. And, for me, it's uniting people and bringing people together in Haraz, every Haraz coffee house, and at the same time creating jobs. Hand over the mic to Ali.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The only thing I can leave you with is this. There are things that are in your control, and then there are things that are not in your control. The things that are in your control, if they don't work out the way you want to, don't stress, because it's in your control. The things that are not in your control, they go badly, also don't stress, because they're not in your control. Don't stress. We are doing exceptional as a community. We have come so far, and the entire world now stands with Palestine.
That's right.
It's happening. The movement is here. You're inside it. You get to decide right now how active you want to be or how passive you want to be. I'm choosing to be active, and alhamdulillah, it's the best thing I could ever do. I encourage you to do the same.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you both. And we're going to get the next panel up in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.